at least for now, okay, you allow your customer to place an order with you, and the order is electronically, automatically save it to your backend system, and you can work on it. You can ship, the order, fulfill the order, and do any of the subsequent kind of operations, and so on. And there are a few things that we need to talk about. The first one is, how do we handle concurrent cart users? Your online store is on the web, right? At any point in time, you would have multiple clients, multiple customers using your cart. How do you tell who is who? Okay, and then for e-commerce, for web applications, we're using cookies. Now, cookie is one of the most important invention of this, web computing. Okay, it's got a very cute name called cookies. But what it means is you can actually tell the customer, the front end or the browser, to store some information for the use of your purpose. In this case, when they have a card, you can store the card ID, okay, on the browser, okay, and then every time when this customer add an item to the card, okay, this item is for certain card ID, okay, and that card ID belongs to that certain customer. Okay, so cookie is really, without cookie today, you can even use email, for example, email program. So that is, really one of the few, most important inventions of the web. Okay, and people are still using it every day. Another thing could be, XML file. Okay, the XML file is a common format for businesses to share data. Before, XML, we call there's something called EDI, electronic data exchange, and then everybody has a different EDI, using different database, using different programs. So there are multiple front end, there are multiple back end platform, all kinds of database, and not very shareable. Okay, well, another way to do that is section. Remember, in the login logout application, we learned how to create a session. Okay, now session has a time span, right? Sometimes it will be timeout, and then if the server automatically terminate it, and then there's no connection between the server and client. So session is really not ideal. You can do that, but it's not ideal. Cookie is the best. Okay, and again, if you disable your cookie, you can kind of just kiss e-commerce goodbye. You cannot do anything today. Okay, and then how do we handle the card ID? The card ID. One way is create a random number. It's very secure. Hard to track. And, usually in the company, in the backend system, if you create an order, you usually have you always use sequential number. Okay, and maybe at the very beginning you have like 02, okay, or 21 to represent year 2021, and then everything after that is just a sequential number added to the 21. Okay, but it's not good for the online store, because of a lot of online store vulnerability, or basically just web application vulnerabilities. You don't want people to know, to guess, your next order number. So create a random kind of ID for each cookie, and then we don't stop at there. Okay, once the customer finish the order, they submit order, right? Internally, you can generate your another order number. In this case, it can be sequential, and that that number can only be used internally. Okay, so That's what I call here, random first, sequential second. And then how do we handle car store? Okay, the most common way is to have a database. And certainly you don't want to create one table for one user or one customer, right? You just create one, car, table to store every, customer's, shopping cart items. Okay. um, and then, when you use, one table, you can normalize it. We talked about this, before, or not normalize it. Okay. For web applications, sometimes we just don't want to, normalize it. Okay. To, with the purpose is the purpose of and improving the the online performance. Okay. um, we can also store everything in the array in the memory. A lot of times using session, right? Again, it's a lot faster, but not robust, right? Because you have handle, session, and you think about this database. Everybody's used to database, right? So we have that concept already. It is it is relational. It's a table, okay, and then you know how to write SQL statement. Memory array is different. It's totally different. How do you handle memory array? You don't use a SQL statement. You just have to use a lot of programming, coding, and to get in a certain element. An array has has a multiple elements, right? And then you have to know every single element, and then get the right element out. It looks like you can make that looks like an online table, but it's just not as robust as more efficient as a table. So virtually, it's online store today, they're using database. All right. We also need to know how to handle incomplete card. Do you want to handle incomplete card? A lot of time we, let's say we go to Amazon, right? We place an order, we put some order in the cart, but we didn't finish it. We just leave the Amazon site. So what are you going to do with that incomplete card? That whenever the customer add that to the cart has a reason, right? They may not that cart item may not be the real one they want, but when they add it to the cart, unless it's accidentally added, otherwise there's a reason for it. You want to keep it, for a couple of reasons. One is we want to make it user friendly. For those items they did not, for that cart, the customer, did not complete. You save those in the cart still, those items in the cart. So next time when they come in, you give them the option to move those incomplete cart item into their cart in the current cart. Okay, if they don't want it, they can just delete it. So you don't have to worry about it. So it's like for user friendliness, right? Okay, especially for account-based kind of customer. Not like the regular retailer. Guests. Customers. They usually just buy one or two items, right? Like we buy from Amazon. We go up there buy one item, but 2 or 3 items the most, and we're done. For wholesalers, they usually just give you enter like 10 or 20 items, with you. Let's say you are the merchant, okay? You're not, we're not Amazon, okay? We just regular merchant. We do have wholesale customer, okay? And then they usually place like 10 items in average, and then in one order with us. And then when they are doing it, when they're purchasing agent, are working on this shopping cart. In the middle, they may just get a phone call. They went somewhere. They go somewhere and then come back. That's usually like 15 minutes. To over. And what are you gonna do? remember, we talk about this session, we cut, the session, for 15 minutes. If the browser becomes inactive for 15 minutes, we will then terminate, the session for security reason, because, you don't want somebody in the library and doing something in the middle and then leave for something else, and then somebody else comes to the desk and complete it for him, right? You don't want to do that. And so, for 10 items, you don't want your customer to enter that 10 item again. So of course you want to save it. Okay. So whatever they enter in the car, you can always save it for them. Okay. Another very important thing is, that's for user friendliness. For the merchant itself, for online store itself, whatever they add to the cart, to represent something. Okay. You collect them. You can do some analysis, to analyze, their preferences. Okay. It's called consumer behavior, kind of tracking. Right. So you really don't want to delete them. Okay. How about cart maintenance? Now, once they have a cart, the customer has a cart, you need to allow them to update quantity of one individual cart item. Or sometimes you can let them update all the quantity, at the same time, and then just click submit, and then just update the whole cart. Okay, it depends. You can do both. I've seen, there's two types of, but I would say, the most common one is number one, update quantity of individual cart item. You know why? Because if you have a cart, having, like a lot of items, and you're actually using paging, right? And then you have to know how you page from page 1 to 2, and then still keep those updated quantity in page 1, right? Remember that we talk about session, state management. You show them page number 1, and then you allow them to update quantity, and then they go to page number 2, and how about all the updated quantity on page 1? So it's a little bit more, complex for you and also for user too. So most likely today, you can, the online store will just allow the customer to update one quantity at a time. Okay. You should also, enable the customer to remove all the items. That's called, to empty the cart, so it can start over. Okay. Other functions. In-stock notification. For those product, out of stock, you can have a little form there, usually on the, product detail page. You show them this is out of stock, and you can ask them, do you want to be notified when we have this in stock? And they can enter the email, and they can save that information. So next time when you when you have that product replenished, inventory replenished, you automatically send the customer an email. Okay. Second one is called multiple item data entry. Okay, now you go to most of the online store now, especially for those online store for the guests, retail customers. You have to add one item at a time, right? You will navigate, the online catalog from main category, subcategory to product list, to product detail, or you just enter a value in the search box and get that, the item. Okay, so you just enter one item at a time, which is not very inconvenient, very convenient for wholesale customer. They already know they have 10 items here. They don't want to go through your, they don't even want to go through your search. So why don't you just create them a form with like 20, blank line there. So every single line, for them to enter the number, because they all know the number, right? They all know the number. So when they order the number, okay, and then the product description, price already come out, and there's another, for this whole, whole row. Okay, let me backtrack a little bit. For this whole row, the first column is product number. is a box. Enter the number there. Okay, enter if there's a match, and then show them product number and product description on the second column. In the third column, we show them the price. Fourth column, show the text box for the enter quantity. All right, and then the final, the very bottom, the column on the right, say enter. And when I click it, all right, and then the system, the page will automatically create a second row with that product number text box there, so they can enter another product number and then just and get the description, price, and the quantity for this second product. Hit enter and go to the third row, right? That's a lot more efficient. Okay, but this for regular customer, you probably don't need it, and that's very common for for wholesaler. For those customers who enter they know what to enter, they know what they want to buy, and usually multiple items, right? And how do we show how many items in the cart? I think a lot of your template, when you bought them, on the upper right hand corner, they usually have a card, right? That show you how many items already. Okay, and that, remember that that card, okay, have a little badge, with a number item in there, okay, and that portion is in the in terms of ASP.NET is in the template master file, right? So how do you show the number there? Very easy. And the page load event. So every time when you run this page, which use template, master page, and then in the page load event, you go into that card and figure out how many items you have, and it show you there. Okay, and then some of the template, you click that card, you can have a drop down, a small drop down window, small window, pop up, show you very basic information about the card. Maybe just the quantity, the product number, the quantity, and the total. And there's a little button, little link, on that little pop-up. You click it, you can see the full card, right? That's a very common functionality. All right, so with all that said, with all these said, we are going to start working on the shopping cart. We're not going to develop all the functionalities. Okay, just some basic functionality. Okay, and we're going to use cookies. We're going to use random ID. We're going to use database for sure. Okay, and then how do we do this card? There's a logic. Okay, there's a logic. Right. Let's go through it. Okay, first of all, you need to create a card table. You have RD ID. Again, and you can have a, now this ID is database, control key. Okay, and this is our card number, generated by our random function. Product number, product name, price, and quantity. Right. So we have a table like that, and we have the add script, for the add to cart button on the product detail page. Okay, and then how do we handle the cart? There's a logic there. There's a very important flow. Okay, I have a description here, but I'm going to use I'm going to write out with you. Okay, write out with you. So let me go to Visual Studio. All right, so I want to create a text file, just like a note. All right, now there's a flow, okay, a processing flow for cart. First thing you do is you need to check if this as a one item added. Okay, that's the first thing you need to check. If let's say yes, then generate a or car number, whatever, for this, or we need to generate a random car number for this customer, right? For the first time, right? And then what we need to do is, okay, what we're going to do here, we're going to A2. We need to tell to create a cookie store car number. Okay? And then, no, I'm going to B. No, this is not the first time. This is not the first item that the customer added to the cart. That means what? It means the customer already have a what? Have a car number, right? Let me just put B. No. And then what we need to do is tell the browser send over the car number, because the browser has the car number stored in the cookie locally, in the browser. Okay, so that's the third thing we need to do. And the second thing is check if this product has already been, let me just say it's now why? Because if this product is already in the cart, okay, then we don't want to create another an item for for this item, because it's going to create a problem later on when you do maintenance. If you have two product two of the same product in the cart, and you want to update quantity, how you update, right? So if the product is already in the cart, we simply just update quantity, right? If it's not, it's the first time. I mean, there's if this product is not in the cart, and then add this in the product. That's logic, okay? And then what's important, another thing, an important thing is, what do we need to add to what do we need? Let's do this. We need what? We need card number. We need product number. We need product. Name. And what? Price. Right? We need all the information to add in add product to the cart. Okay, and then what do we need to update a product quantity of a product in a cart? What do we need? Now, I want you to think about it. What do we need what do we need to just update the quantity? Now, in order for you to add a new, add the new product or new cart item to the cart, you actually need everything, right? Cart number, product name, price, quantity. If you only want to update quantity of a certain existing product in the cart, what do you need? In other words, when you write your SQL statement, what do you need to be? What need to be in there in that SQL statement?
Would that be update?
For me, yeah, update.
Update, right? Yeah.
Yeah. To add, a product to the cart, you need everything. If you only update quantity, what do you need?
Product ID or product number?
Product number and
The quantity.
And quantity.
and one more, the most important thing.
Product name?
No,
Okay. Price?
no, we're not updating price. We're not updating price. We're not updating product
Part
name.
number.
Car number, right? Yeah, because there are many cards in the shopping cart. You have to know car number, product number, and quantity, right? Okay, for those who answered correctly, that 1 point. All right, so these are important things to know. Now we're going to write. Okay, we're going to write up our program now. First, what we need to do is we need to go to first thing we need to go to product detail SPX. And what we need to do is we need to make sure we have a text box, right? And also a button. So over here we have a button, but this one is actually, this is a HTML button, right? We want we want ASP.NET web control. So one of them is text box. Another one is button. Okay, and then we don't need this. Now I'm going to be a little careless about CSS now because we don't have time. Okay, so I'm not using any kind of existing class to make it look, more appealing. So this is going to be text box quantity, and the button we're going to call that btn add to cart. Okay, and the text just say something like that. So we have two controls. Now we need to write program, right? The procedure to handle this add, the do button. So F7, hit the wrong thing. F7 to go to the code behind, and then find the product detail. Okay, and then add the cart is buttons here, and then click event. All right, there you go, right here. All right. Again, I've seen couple of you made a mistake in accidentally change this. Once you accidentally change this one single in-text, it won't work. The whole thing will work. Okay, so make sure you don't want change the original event, let's call this event, signature. Don't do it, don't make any change. Okay. And since we're going to handle database, we already have those two classes imports, and all we need to do is just put that card. But before we do that, there's one more thing we need to do, and that is what we need to create a card table. Create a card table here. So tables, add new table. So first one is always like card ID, and that is, the identity specification enabled, and then we have this card number, that is our number. Okay, that's our number, and we're going to make this new numeric character and 10. Okay, and then product number, I believe that is 10, right? I believe it's 10. And product name, you can also have product description if you want. And I believe this is 30. And then price. Right? Price is numeric. I can't remember. I think that's 72, right? 72.
It was 7.2, I think.
Okay, thank you. Right. These are, you can more, for different purpose. Now card ID, card number, product number, product name, and price. Good. Okay. I'm going to name table card. And update. Update. Good. We have the table ready. All right, so let's go back to the product detail page. I'm going to copy some code. Just a second. Where's my lots of stuff here. The code is not really complicated, but it just you just have to know how to handle the logic we just talked about, the flow. All right, I want to paste it into here. All right, so let me explain, one line at a time. Well, at the same time, I need to have a function. Just a second, look at the function. Google has a lot of random, generator using, the GUI function. Every language has GUI function. This is right here. Okay. Now this is the first answer. First question. Check this. Does this customer, is this the first time the add a product to the cart? Right. And we're going to do that. Here's the code. Declare a string variable, call that car number. We need a car number. Now, the goal is to have car number, product number, product name, price, and quantity if we want to add, right? And this is other cars. So we need these 5, that 5 data items. So first we get the car number. Now, this is to ask, to check to see if the browser has a cookie called car number. We're using HTTP context, class, subclass current, subclass request, and cookies. class cookies. So if we do this, if ASP.NET, runtime, execute this, okay, and then the browser will get a notice, okay, and to check to see if card number, if there's a cookie called card number exists, okay. If it does not exist, that means what? It's the first time, right? First time customer, to add an item to the cart. And then we need to get, to generate a card number. We'll run this function. And because we're using 10 digit, okay? And then once we run this, the value will be assigned to this, card number string variable. And then what? And then in turn, we need to what? We need to tell the browser, hey, create a cookie and store the, the cookie called card number and store the, and this card number value in that cookie. So we're going to use a cookie object, okay? Now, the HTTP cookie is a, constructor, all right, using the new keyword, okay? And the name of the cookie is called cookie2. We're sending that to browser. You need to, two pieces of information. The one is the name of the cookie and also, the value of the cookie. Okay. And then when we use the same HTTP context current response, it's append cookie, I think, no, I'm sorry. This append cookie should be a problem. Sometimes, unless we can actually, see how they implement this, it's hard to say that this is a property or method. Okay. And you put this cookie and object inside. So this line will, this give you that cookie object, and this line will tell the browser to create a cookie with the value. Okay. Now, if this is not satisfied, means what? Means this is not the first time. The customer already have a cookie. Okay. And then we create another cookie variable. Okay, using the the request. Okay, request cookie. It's like here to get the value and then store the value and the cookie back an object. This cookie back object contains cookie name and also cookie value. And then when we do that cookie.value, we will get the value out and then store the value in the string, card number. So this whole block is to get the card number. All right, the second step I did not mention here, okay, which is more like more about security. Now, from product detail page, we can get the quantity from the TB quantity.txt, right? And we can also get the product name from here, from LBL product name.txt, product number from LBL product number.txt, right? We can get it directly from product. How about price? Where's the price here? Of course, you can get it from LBL product, LBL price.txt. Now the problem is, like I told you, anything that's sent out from the browser can be intercepted, can be altered. Price is so important. You don't want to just get that from the browser. You want to get it again from your database. Now the only assumption is you're not changing the price all the time. Okay, you only change it probably once a day or once a month, something like that. Once that page is out, and then you make sure that day the price is stay the same. So here we need to set up ADO object variables, blah blah blah, and then get product price. Select everything from product where product ID equal to LBL. So here right now here should change on the number. Product number equal to LBL product number.txt. Okay, do you think there's a match? It should be a match, right? It should be a match because the product number is again directly from here. But again and again, that can be also altered, right? Okay, so so here, if that product, does not exist, you can actually return an error, a message to the customer. This product actually don't exist. In this case, for a regular, honest, customer, this wouldn't happen, right? Only for the hacker, right? They actually change the product number too, you know. So, so here, let's say we don't have that, flag here to handle that kind of anomaly. We'll assume that this product exists. So once it exists, you're going to see if that, data reader check read. If there's an item in that data reader, we're going to say dr check the item, price, get the value from the price, field, and then store the value to the, the price. And after that, and then we have to check to see if this product already exists in the card map. So we need to have another SQL statement. Okay, and then now see here, I'm not using, I'm not creating more, connection object or data reader object, command object. I'm reusing it. I'm actually reusing them. So here, I simply just reuse this. Let me see. Here. So the only way for you to reuse it is you need to close the data reader. Okay, once you close the data reader, okay, the command will be released. The connections, will be released too. So make sure this line is very important here. All right. Now, if this is true, that means what? It means there is already an item inside, and we need to write our SQL statement and execute it. And the SQL statement here. Now this is actually for you to do. Okay, your work. Right? You need to write your own SQL statement, and the quantity. Make sure the quantity is different. Okay, quantity has to be existing quantity. Right? You have to replace. No, I'm sorry. If they add, the same item, right? You need to get the quantity from the card and then add a new quantity to that quantity, and then save the the total of the summation of the quantity back to the card. Now, if this is not true, that means this is the first time. Then we just insert into card. File number, product number, product name, quantity, price, and then that's how you do, your SQL statement. Okay. Execute it. And then when you're done, we need a response, redirect to a view card page. Now we don't have that, so I'm going to comment it out. I'll comment it out. Okay. Now we're going to try it. Okay. Hopefully I don't have any typos somewhere. And we can have it run successfully just one time. I mean, just okay. Let's go and do that. First time is always take longer. Let me switch to Firefox. It's here. On desktop, let's say we want to add this one. All right, so let's say we add one. Oh, it should be here. I have to delete the original box. Should be this one. Add to cart. Okay. All right, I have an error message, and that's a surprise. That's also security, it's page event value enable using page 2. May have to on the product detail page. Let's say let's just use what they recommend. Let's say enable event validation. Let's make it false. And let's say if it runs still. Okay. All right, it actually run, but the quantity invalid quantity. I do have a typo on the data field name. So let's go back to our card. Oh, you know what? I forgot to add a quantity data field. Apparently, all of us, all of us didn't, we're not aware of it. You know what? Sometimes if we have that error in the browser, and then there's some kind of a cache somewhere to prohibit us from working on the database. So we need to do that again. All right, card table definition, quantity, integer, update, same thing. Now, let's say I do that. No. How about this? How about if I delete that and then do it again? We can do that very quick. Card ID. All right, I'll do that very quick, okay? Card number. Product number. Product name. Price. Seven two. Finally, quantity. Integer. All right, this time it's correct, right? Product ID, card ID, card number, product name, price, quantity. It's the card table. Update. There we go. Okay. Let's write it. Okay, go desktop, add this item, 3, all right, you won't, we don't have view card, right? So what we need to do is just go back to Visual Studio and check the table. This table, and let's open show table data, except one item. There we go. Here. This is the random, ID. Price is 0. What happened to the price? I don't know why the price 0. Okay. Let's take a look at the product table. Yeah, there's no price 0. So it's got to be this is somehow this is not, the product doesn't exist. Maybe it's trim. Let's try trim. Or we can, somewhere here we can write, the SQL statement now called response. All right, and let's write the SQL statement out and see what happens. Okay. No, I'm going to add a different one. Select everything from product where product number equal to 2. And then if you take out the product 2, like the price here. So in this case, I don't know what's wrong with our go to a card table, refresh it, and let's take a look at it again, show table data. Still get price 0. Somewhere is wrong. Okay? I have to figure it out. Shouldn't be 0. I'll figure it out. Okay. Now, for those of you who already finished your project number 1, you can go ahead and start working on your project number 2 by adding this add a card functionality to your product detail page. For those of you who are still working on it, you need to show me. I say Thursday. I can remember. I already told you, right? And then next Tuesday will be the the final day. After that, I won't take any late project. Then I will show you everything what you need to do. Okay, not everybody can get everything right, so I will spend a class period and show you everything. Everything I require. Okay. It looks like everybody's here, right?